My name is Heather, and next to me is Kendra.
Hey.
Today we'll be discussing relationship statuses and then also kind of qualities in a mate that we used to look for. For me being single, one of the things that I get to embrace in that is that I can solely focus on me, and that's something that I really, really enjoy and appreciate. I know this season won't be forever, so the fact that I can be selfish and I don't have to make sure somebody else's well-being is okay, and I can solely focus on my peace and my sanity and me. I can be me. I really take that into consideration through everything I do, and I make sure that it's all about me, as selfish as that is. But I think
that could be seen, as all perspective. So that could be seen as preparation. Not that that's your ultimate goal,
mm-hmm.
but because you have time to care for yourself in that, you're figuring out things about yourself that will hopefully just serve to better any relationship that you get into in the future.
Remind me to say that next time somebody calls me selfish. The awkward part about being all about me, are some days where I would like to have someone to kind of go through life with, where days are really, really good, or if they're really, really bad, just kind of having someone to lean on in a romantic situation, perspective, I guess, where I'm like, oh my God, babe, I got fired. And we can go through that together. Or, babe, I got a raise, or I got a promotion, or something like that, versus having to call my parents all the time. They love me and all, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it, but the reality of it is there are days where that does come into play, where I'm like, oh dang, like I ain't got nothing to do on a Saturday night. It'd be so dope to just like lay on the couch and watch movies with babe or something like that. But I digress. It'll come, and then I'll be annoyed, and I'll be like, dang, I remember I could just lay on the couch by myself. So I do, and I've had that happen, so I do embrace this time now, because I know it's coming.
Yeah, and I think, like the point of that and what we found in both of our relationship statuses is that it's ironic that the thing that we enjoy the most about our current season sometimes is the very same thing that makes our current situation, a little more difficult or challenging. Like you said, you get to focus on yourself, but on the same token, or
it's just me.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, and within married life, the thing that I enjoy the most also too is the thing that sometimes can challenge me the most, let's just say, which is doing life with someone, as you mentioned. So it is amazing to have someone that you can bounce ideas off of, someone just at times when maybe you don't really feel like talking, but you don't want to be alone, so you're just there in the presence of each other. And however, what can present itself, as a challenge when you are married, and it's definitely something that you have to be ready for, before making such a huge commitment, is the fact that you are doing life with someone. So
forever.
You do, at least that's the goal, right? So you do have to intentionally make a point to make sure that as you're thinking through things and making decisions, you are considering the other person's well-being. That is not just a take, but that it's a give and the take. So we're both concerned about each other. We're both pushing each other. Exactly. Yeah. We're both trying to get the best out of each other, so that our union, will be the best.
Gets the best out of both of you.
Exactly. And then, of course, if you then take that, next step, of course, there's a certain, image of marriage that you want to present to your kids. And so that's another reason to have to be on the same page. And that, of course, would add a whole nother dynamic. So, the idea of being with someone forever, of course, is the best and most beautiful part about it. But,
you're also with someone for forever.
Yeah, it's not just, rainbows and butterflies every single day. One could wish, right? So it's just, making sure that you're, willing to dig deep with that person that you choose to make such a huge commitment with.
So before you got married and you were in your dating world, was there ever a time where you kind of had like a list of like, this is what I wanted to make, or I want him to meet all my family on our first date, and if they don't approve, then we can't go on a date or anything like that?
No, not for me. I mean, in my particular situation, it's a little unique. We got married super young at 22 without our family, in Vegas. So, you know, I'm not the ordinary love story necessarily, but as far as, dating, and you know why I did decide to marry my husband, it wasn't based upon any checklist items that I had necessarily. I don't really believe in that. I'm more an advocate for, you know, taking, you know, each person into consideration, and filling out your interactions, your dynamics between each other. And so what really stood out for me, with my husband is, you know, in comparison to anyone else, that I had ever dated, you know, just from our initial date, it felt different. He treated me different, and so that is what made me want to pursue the relationship and see, okay, is he just kind of putting on because it's a first date type of thing, or is this true to his character and who he is? And so, you know, I fortunately was able to determine that, you know, the character that he showed me on our first date, you know, continued to actually be who he was. And so that is what I made my decision off of. Though, you know, he didn't, you know, if I had made a list, he probably wouldn't have had everything checked off on it. Also, we were really young, also too. So I know that it's different, you know, as you get older, you know, there's different things that are important, you know, as you get older. So I know that I don't have that perspective. So, you know, being, you know, in your late 20s, and hey, I'm in my late 20s too. I didn't.
No, you're not there yet.
But, you know, being, you know, in your late 20s, you know, have you seen that what you are looking for now, or what's important to you now, in a mate has changed from, you know, perhaps when you were dating in your younger 20s?
It's changed a lot, actually. One of the main things that have changed is I used to have a list. I'm not even gonna lie. I had a very extensive list of things, and I actually met like 2 people that marked like 80% of the list, and so like I was like, yeah, it ain't work, obviously. So now I don't have a list. Like, as long as I'm at peace with you and I trust you, those are the 2 biggest things that I need. Those are I don't huge. Yeah. That's it. Like, we can pretty much figure out everything else. I used to have one thing on my list. It's like, I won't marry or date anyone with kids. And as I got older and I started having friends that had kids, and I saw like how unfair that was, I realized how shallow of me that was, and I was like, dang. Not saying I went back and was like, you know, I did you dirty.
Yeah, but just your perspective on it.
Exactly.
Changed. Yeah.
So, as you do get older, your perspective does change, ideally for the better. And so, I can say now what I look for in a mate is nothing compared to what I looked for in a mate pre-25, pre-20. And to be honest, I can say even from last year, a lot of things have changed. And I think it's interesting, like your definition of love as you get older changes. So when you're married, I've learned from a lot of my married friends is that when your definition of love changes, when that one person still meets all of those definitions for you, it's a really special thing.
Yeah.
And so I can say in the last 2 years or so, my definition of love has changed. And so what I thought was love and what I thought was something that I wanted to be part of a marriage is nothing compared to what I want now. And so that has been a huge eye-opener. So I don't even look at people the same way. I'm like, oh, you have a nice car, but can you afford it? So it's their mindset, can I trust you, our piece together, that's it. Like, and then equally yoked, obviously. But other than that, we can figure out everything else. And I think that if I would have gotten married younger to the people or the person who I thought I was going to marry, I would still be sitting here single today. So I am glad that I get to embrace this season of singleness versus being the one that was like, oh, you want to marry me? We'll figure it out. I don't think marriage is something you already have to figure it out day to day. It shouldn't be figuring out the basics of. So
yeah,
that's kind of where that whole thing came from.
Yeah, I think that you know, you definitely brought up some good points in terms of how your perspective, you know, has changed over time. I definitely think, you know, as you know, get older, you get more mature, and you know, that changes. And there are, you know, to the point that you brought up, which I'm sure is a sensitive topic, you know, to some people in terms of, you know, whether it be the woman or the man, you know, that has a kid. I know that, you know, for some people those are deal breakers, and some people are a little more open-minded about that. I definitely think that, you know, is something that as you get older, it becomes a bigger decision for you to make as far as where you stand on that. Because, you know, the likelihood as you get older, it becomes a little more likely that the other one or both, you know, may even have kids. So those are really good topics, you know, to have to have to consider. You know, just kind of in closing, as we, you know, spent time talking about, you know, what to look for in someone else, I think that it's just important to note that whether you are single or married, and as you're interacting and dating or, you know, whatever it may be, that you do stay true to yourself, though. You know, just speaking from the woman's perspective, but I think that it would apply for men also too. But, you know, what you're looking for doesn't mean that you have to change who you are within your core. Instead, you know, I think that
I get to expand.
I think that you know, the person that you mate with, that's funny, that you, I don't mean mate, I'm cutting that out. The person that you, you know, end up with is...
I don't like to end up with.
Okay.
Sorry.
So,
keep
yeah,
going.
I guess that's kind of...
It's kind of settling.
Yeah. So the person that you get in a relationship with, or that you are, the person that you are in a relationship with, there it is, should, you know, mirror, you know, some of those core values. I think that you do have to have common ground, you know, on certain things. But I do believe in differences. Me and my husband couldn't be any more different. But we literally are different in every aspect. But, you know, the things that we agree upon are major things, our morals, our, you know, big ticket items. And I think the fact that we do have differences makes it fun, you know. So that's just my point of, you know, not feeling like you have to conform to the other person in order to make a relationship work. I think that you both have to embrace your quirks and qualities.
And from the single perspective, you don't ever want to conform, because eventually the real you's going to come out, and that the relationship's not going to go too much further at that point, because who they thought they had or who they thought they were with isn't who they are with. And so it's kind of like you're having to redo the whole relationship again. And depending on what you were hiding, no one's going to want to deal with that. So we definitely agree for both perspectives is that you stay true to yourself. And the person that you are with, like Kendra said, that they should help you be better. No one, you shouldn't stay stagnant. You shouldn't just kind of be like, oh, well, now I'm married. I'm just, like.
Yeah, and I think that you have a responsibility to, you know, just like they're making you better, you have a responsibility to make them better also too. Now, not meaning that, you know,
they become President Obama.
No. I meant, you know, not meaning that it's your responsibility to raise them, so to speak, but just, you know, there's some great qualities in you that make them shine, just like there's great qualities in them that make you shine. So it's, again, that same point of you both being on the same page and taking it to a higher level.
Oh, look at you, girl.
So with that, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for next week's episode.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.